Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of InRange. This is the September 2-gun action challenge match. You got myself, Karl, and Russell Fagan, otherwise known as Sinistral Rifleman. And this is the last 2-gun match we have before the big Red October this year, which is actually being held earlier in October. Usually it's held near Halloween. This year it's held like the first weekend, I believe it is,
right,
up at Sups Range in Utah. And of course, Red October is a celebration of everything Soviet weaponry, mostly the Kalashnikov, but other stuff as well. They've changed some stuff this year in which guns that last year would have fit into standard Kalashnikov will end up in open, and the standard Kalashnikov light and heavy is more trying to like make it more the original traditional AK, and actually the VZ58 is being thrown into Kalashnikov as well. So Fagan here, you're going to be shooting an armored trooper,
right?
And so your gun's actually fairly heavily modified, but that's okay because you're an armored trooper,
right? So I'm just using as much of a modern AK as I can without getting into like really weird things that might affect reliability. Lee Armory let me borrow this one for the match because I'm doing coverage for Breach Bang Clear.
Okay.
And you know, we'll co-share the videos and stuff on there like we have in the past.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting because I don't shoot AKs all that much.
No, you're not really an AK guy. And so what we're doing here today is we're going to actually be practicing with our gear to make sure everything works properly. This is our last trial run before we go to the big match, so that's an important thing to do. And so this particular match series is going to be about what are we doing to make sure our gear is working for Red October. In that regard, I'm using something particularly weird. I'll probably be the only guy at Red October with this, I'm going to guess. This is a Czechoslovakian VZ52/57. The 52 was chambered in a strange 7.62x45 round, which then became sort of obsolescent because the Soviets didn't like that. They wanted to standardize the cartridge, and so they modified the guns or rebarreled them, made them the /57, and this one's chambered in standard 7.62x39. The closest rough equivalent of this gun would be the SKS. It is 10-round box magazine fed. I've got 3 of those magazines on my person, and then if I land up going past 30 rounds, I will then go to stripper clips. Hopefully I won't need to do that. It's a very unique gun, embedded bayonet, and yes, the stock has been fixed with tape, which is of course very traditional InRangeTV tradition. So we're going to be doing this today. I'm going to be running this here. You're going to be running your AK and Armored Trooper, and we're going to see what happens through 4 stages of 2-gun to make sure we're ready for Red October coming up very soon. All right, so this is stage 1. At this stage, there are 4 rocks on the ground. At the beginning of this stage, you're going to have to keep your rifle with you the whole time. You'll pick up one of these rocks with your rifle with you, not breaking the 180, and put it in the tire. And then you run back with your rifle, not breaking the 180. That's one of the challenges. From this position, you're going to fire between the slit in these 2 barricades, or actually barrels, and from there are 3 targets downrange. There's a mini IPSC on the far right, there's a mini Q on the left, and a far side full-size IDPA steel target at about 100 and something. And you're going to do this until all of these rocks are depleted, and you have 90 seconds to complete that task.
Right. Impact! Impact!
My loads are too light.
Impact! Impact! Impact!
Yep.
Impact! Impact!
Don't worry about it.
Impact! 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 Impact!
All right. Stand by. Impact. Impact. My right. Impact.
Capitalist rock man. Time.
Time.
Time. Time. All right, unloading choke point, please.
All right, first stage of the day, stage one, our sort of long-range run and gun moving rocks. How'd it go?
It went pretty okay for me.
How was your gear?
The rifle worked fine. What I will differentiate here is because you have the policy of not painting targets here,
yes.
I would normally shoot a stage like this on like 2 power.
Okay.
Or with a 3x magnifier in place on an AR.
Sure.
Just for target clarity, because they sometimes blend into the background.
Yeah, we don't paint targets, and we have a policy about never painting targets. And so as a result, these are all shot to heck. They're all gray, and they have a gray dirt background. So at 2x, you can see them a little better, but you're just red dotting it right now.
Right, so I had some more makeup shots than I normally would on a stage like this.
What about the gun in general?
I had to be more conscientious about the safety selector.
Yes, of course.
Because I don't usually use that.
Oh, right. Well, not on an AK.
Not on an AK, and when I have shot competitively with a Vepr, we don't really need to turn it back on and off.
Yeah, but with the kind of movement we have here, we kind of emphasize putting the safety on for obvious reasons.
Right. So it's a good point of proofing out your gear at a local match before going to a major to get acclimated to it.
Which is what I'm doing here with this VZ52-57. So people are going to go, well, why did you do that stupid thing of going prone for every position? Because that's slower, right? It is, but if you have not used the sights on a VZ52-57, you're going to find that it's a little teeny tiny notch that has a little teeny tiny sliver that you have to line up. And so what I was going for there was the most stable position possible to get the best sight picture possible, so that when I fired with my wonderful 10-round capacity magazine, I would not be missing as much as I needed to, so I would have to reload less, because you may have noticed that these are not exactly speed loading belt pouches. These are actual Czechoslovakian pouches from the period, and they're very much patterned after World War II German stuff, so clearly they did not learn anything in terms of being more efficient, and they decided to go with 10-round magazines. But you pull this little baby open, and then you fish for this magazine in here, you get it out, then you have to rock and lock it, and then run the bolt to chamber around to get another fantastic 10 rounds of 7.62 by 39. So the goal there is to minimize the amount of reloads possible. I'm going to say, is that faster than typical loading like it would be with an SKS? I'm going to say probably, but these pouches take away a lot of the speed that would come with a magazine-fed gun. So, but I'm running this because that's what I do at InRange. I'm going to run the original crap and have a problem. So that's what we did. Sights are fine once you get a sight picture, but they're slower to acquire, and so therefore going prone made sense to me. I felt like if I was unstable kneeling or something, then I was going to just cause myself more misses and probably have a second reload.
Right.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
But in terms of malfunctioning or any reliability issues, none occurred. And so therefore I'm going to say that that magazine and the 2 magazines I used are good to go. I'm going to use different magazines on each stage and make sure they're all working so that I know that I have 4 for Red October.
Another interesting note to point out for your match is there is a dropped partial magazine penalty.
There is.
Which makes it beneficial to shoot empty. So some people might be thinking, why didn't he just reload when he was moving back to position? The reason being is you don't want to ground or have to deal with storing a partial magazine.
I don't have a dump pouch on, and so if I had dumped a mag, if I had gone between the rocks and dumped a 2-round mag on the ground, that would have been a penalty here, because we have a mag retention policy. So I ran it dry, which I think is actually a realistic approach towards mag changes in the real world. That's why we have the rule, but it also meant that reloading another fantastic 10-round magazine on the clock was just part of the game with my VZ52-57. But it's a cool gun, interesting gun.
Interesting note about stage design too.
Yeah.
You have a more practical mindset on stage design, so sometimes you don't think of how people might game stages. So before we started this one, I go, what's the vertical most limit of between the barrels? Because someone's going to ask.
Yes, yes.
So you're like, I got a solution for that. Let's put a cinder block
And I put a little piece of cinder block on top of the barrels, which, because of your core sampling muzzle brake, might have been part of it. It kept falling, not on your head, but on the gun. But luckily, it's a borrowed gun, right?
Yeah, that's good. And it's an AK, so whatever.
Yeah, who cares? But what we did is we replaced it with a stick later. But there was twice where that rock fell right on your gun.
So you're going to give me a -5 procedural on that, right?
No, we considered fair and decided against it. So that was stage 1. We've got, technically the next one's a pistol one, which we probably will not include for this stage series. But we've got 2 more using the rifles to follow, so stay tuned.